Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Humanities 112. Well, this little section here is my helpful tips to successfully doing assignment 2 for this course. And this is the big one. This is the 200-point assignment. So this is absolutely one you want to really do a good job on. I mean, 200 points, 2 letter grades in this class. So let's briefly go over what I'm looking for in here so you have a good understanding of how to do this assignment. The first thing you want to make sure you do, it says you choose one of the topics. There are 4 prescribed topics you can choose, okay? And there's a project sheet here in week 8 that tells you about, that tells you a little bit about what it is the project comprises. So there's 4 topics. One is an art office memo. One is a speech. You're writing a speech that you're going to give to somebody, an essay on the Harlem Renaissance poets, and an essay on women's roles now and then. Okay, now it says you're to do a 3 to 4 page paper, 750 to 1,000 words, and you know me. If it says 750 to 1,000 words, lean towards the 1,000. Okay, lean towards 4 pages. If it says 3 to 4 pages, 3 pages is not 2 pages of text and a couple sentences on page 3. 1,000 words of text, not counting a cover page, not counting references. You need to use at least 2 sources besides the textbook. So a minimum of 3 sources, not counting or including the textbook if you use a textbook. Frankly, I don't use textbooks as scholarly sources. I would not use the textbook. It says you can, but I would shy away from it. I'd use 3 really good sources, scholarly sources, if at all possible. And if you're using scholarly sources, Strayer has an awesome amount of great sources through EBSCOhost, ProQuest, things like that, the databases that are available through the library link. So if you're using those, and you should be, those are much better sources for getting scholarly sources for your research. So whichever one you pick, the last 2, the Harlem Renaissance and the women's roles, especially the Harlem Renaissance one, reads more like a research paper. Most of you probably will choose that one, which is okay. I don't care which of the 4 you choose. They're all interesting. The mistake some people will make in doing this is, if the art office memo, for example, says your boss wants you to write a memo outlining what type of art they should have, okay? And when people do that, they write me a very nice memo, okay? But they'll forget to do some things. This is still a research assignment. It requires sources, and it requires in-text citations. What is an in-text citation? And basically what that means is any information you got that is not your own, didn't come out of your brain, requires a parenthetical citation, okay? Leonardo da Vinci, blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. After that information, which is not original to you, parentheses, Smith, who was the author of the book, comma, 2012, says to the reader, okay, these ideas, in your words, okay, but your own words, but Smith's ideas, okay? Which leads me to another issue whenever you write for me. Please make sure never, ever, ever from me copy and paste anything. Do not copy and paste. I would avoid direct quotes. I would paraphrase in my own words anything I find and use a citation after that. Okay? How often should you use citations? Honestly, for me, if I write more than 5 sentences in a paper and I don't have a citation, I start getting nervous. You should too. So you write more than 4 or 5 sentences, really, if there's not a citation, you are telling the reader, these are my original thoughts. So if you're writing all about how, Picasso's Guernica was reflective of postmodernism and anti-war sentiments and blah, 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 I'm pretty sure that didn't come as an original insight to you. You probably read it somewhere. You need to tell me where you found it. Okay? So even though you're doing an art office memo per se, and it's probably written as a memo. Now, memos don't usually have citations in them. Okay? This one will, because this is still an academic exercise. And it does need to be written as though it were an academic exercise. So please remember to include in any of these assignments in-text citations. If you're not real sure what an in-text citation is or what you should cite, the standard in this class is always the same. Pick up the phone and call me. I will be happy to walk you through it. I'll be happy to show you what you need to cite. But all of these assignments, in a 4-page, usually on a full page of text, my expectation is there's probably 7 or 8 citations on a page. So if you're looking at the page you've written and you've got 2 citations, you probably don't have enough. If you've got 7 or 8, you're probably right in the ballpark. So use that as your guide, okay? That's real important. If you do not include a citation, you do run the dangerous ground, or on the dangerous ground of bordering on possibly plagiarizing the assignment. Because if there's no citation, it says the insight and the information is original to me. And most of this information from any of us, even when I write, most of my stuff that I write, I got from somebody else. I research, and I give credit. And that's what you're going to do, okay, as effectively as possible. So, and again, to effectively do this, and this is one that lends itself very nicely to reading the grading rubric, okay? Let's say, for example, you are doing the art memo. One of the things you get graded on, 30% of this, says addresses each of the 4 points. Okay, for every one of these, there's four numbered things. For the art memo, it says identify 3 examples of 19th century Impressionist painting or sculpture and 3 post-Impressionist works. Explain how each of the 6 pieces falls into these 2 styles. Again, put a heading, just write it out, boom, that word for word as it says here, item 1, write it out, and then your paragraph or 2, okay? Item 2, in a memo, describe the appearance of your 6 choices to your CEO so he or she will know what the art looks like. So you're describing each of them. If you put headings, once again, it makes it very easy for me to grade. Aha, because I have to grade on that and say, oh, did they do number 2 in the rubric addressing each of the 4 points? If you have headings with each of the 4 things, it's easy. If you write it just like a paper with no headings, then I have to hunt for stuff. And if I hunt for stuff, I may miss things. If I miss things, points get deducted. Always make it as easy as possible for the grader to find what they need to grade you on. And since you have access to the grading rubric, you know what I'm going to grade you on. So plan accordingly for that, okay? If you do that, you get graded on following instructions, which is pretty straightforward as long as you submitted it on time and did all the components, you did that. Each of them have 4 numbered things you're supposed to do. Provide sufficient information and depth. References, as I said, you need at least 3. And writing, clarity, spelling, that sort of stuff. Okay? Since this is the longest assignment, it's the biggest assignment of the term, take your time on this one. Read it, research it, write it, proofread it. Good writing, friends, is always in the editing. My doctoral dissertation, for example, I wrote it, when it finally got done, it was on edition 57. Wrote it 57 separate times before it was right, before it was good, before it was, well, in my mind, beautiful. Nobody writes War and Peace the first time out, type. The myth that, oh, I write best under pressure, so I'll wait until Sunday at 10 o'clock to just churn this bad boy out. Nobody writes well under pressure. Under pressure, you make mistakes. So everyone does. So please plan accordingly. Start this one as early in the week as possible. I told everybody in week 1 to print out the course guide. So hopefully everybody knew this was coming and you've planned accordingly, and so you can take your time on this one and effectively get it done. As always, if you run into any issues or problems on this assignment, if you can't decide which topic, if you're not sure what you should cite, and you shouldn't have any trouble finding sources on any of this, there's numerous ones. But if you do, as always, communicate, call me, message me, text me, come to my office, whatever you need to do to effectively communicate prior to the deadline. So if you do that, you should be in good shape on assignment 2. Again, I look forward to reading your papers. These are always kind of interesting to me, so I look forward to reading them. And other than that, best of luck this week. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.